I grew up on a farm and I went to a small country school. I was quite a shy kid because I had two older sisters. Mum and Dad loved us and they did the best that they could. However, I was pretty ungrateful to have such a loving family. Some kids nowadays just don't know what that is. It was a few years ago that I broke my arm and my leg in two separate accidents, and life as I knew it came to a screaming halt. I was bedridden for 3 weeks and I was off work for 3 months. My friends all phoned me to begin with, but after a while they had their own lives to get on with. Work carried on without me, and why wouldn't it? I felt pretty depressed and worthless, empty. After my injuries healed, I found it really hard to go back to living life in the shallow end. I wanted to find out what was real, what was solid. I started to read a lot of books. I was reading about people like Jesus and Buddha and Lao Tzu and Confucius, and I liked all the things that they said. They talked about loving your enemies and they talked about forgiveness and not being materialistic. But no one talked about sin the way Jesus did. He said that sin wasn't just stealing, murdering and lying. He also talked about things that were deeper in the heart, things like being ungrateful, being bitter, and he challenged my thoughts and motives. However, I wasn't taking him all that seriously at the moment, so I just decided to pick and choose what I wanted, sort of like my own personal religion. I felt that I could just take the benefits of his Christian philosophy without facing up to his challenges. I used to be an agnostic. I didn't believe in any sort of God, and I hadn't bothered looking. One day I was reading an author who I felt was pretty onto it. He was very perceptive in the ways that humans deal with reality. And one day I was reading him, and he found out that there is a God. And I just closed the book. I was shocked. I felt betrayed. I knew that if there was no God, then I was in charge and I could keep doing what I wanted. But if there was a God, then I knew that I would have to begin taking life a lot more seriously. In the Gospel of John, Jesus says, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." The account that really stood out to me is at the end of all the four Gospels. It's the crucifixion. There were those who celebrated when Jesus came into Jerusalem just a week earlier, and now they were chanting, "Crucify him." His own family distanced themselves from him. His disciples, who had been with him for 3 years, they now deserted him, and some even denying that they knew him. Even the men that were crucified with him on either side, they mocked him. To all these people, Jesus said, "Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing." I looked at my own life and I just saw how ungrateful I'd been for everything that God has done. How I'd been bitter towards people and I'd never forgiven them for even little wrong things that they'd done for me. And I was much more concerned with how other people made me feel rather than how I made other people feel. The label sinner that I'd once shied away from now seemed to suit me pretty well. It has been well said that the purpose of an open mind is the same as an open mouth, to shut it again on something solid. When I opened my mind, I got a lot more than I bargained for, but I wouldn't change a single thing. My name is James, and now I have a hope.